Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fatihah binti Muhammad Nur from HM 24160. Today, I will present about my internship at the Museum Kelantan. This is a table of content that have in this slide, which is history of museum, organization chart, customer service, employment details, SWOT analysis, recommendations, conclusions, and appendix. First of all is history of museums. Kelantan State Museum was established in 1919. Kelantan State Museum also a main museum because in this museum there is an office and all matters relating to museum should be dealt with the Kelantan Museum State Corporation's office that's located in the Kelantan State Museum. They have a 9 museum in Kelantan, which is Kelantan State Museum, Royal Ceremony Museums, or known as Jahar Palace, the Royal Museum, Islamic Museum, Handicraft Museum, Kite Museum, Kuala Krai Museum, and also Kelantan Art Gallery. All of these museums are under the administrations of the Kelantan State Museum Corporation's office. During I was training, I was assigned to the Jahar Palace or Royal Ceremonies Museums. Jahar Palace is originally the residence of the Raja Bendahara Tengku Long Kundur bin Sultan Ahmad. That palace was built in 1887 in front of traditional Malay architectures, and Kelantan State Museum Corporation's office received Jahar Palace as a museum in 1981. In museums, it exhibits the royals' marriage ceremony, different style traditionally in royal ceremonies, and also traditional treatments to pre- and post-natal of baby. Next is organization chart. This is organization chart of Kelantan State Museum Corporations that have a director, which is Mr. Ahmad Sargawi, and also have a assistant administrative officer, which is Mr. Tarmizi, and he is also a supervisor of the practical students. Other than that, each museum have a own museum assistant to monitor their staff and also conditions of the museum. Next is customer. Customer at the museum are visitor. The museum have received visitor from the different type of either the local or internationals. As you can see, the first picture is tourists come from the Korean, and second picture is tourists come from the England. Then for the service that museum provide is about the history and culture which the royal family use. Other than that, when visitor come to Jahar Palace, as you can see that the picture show the engagements and solemnizations of marriage rooms. The next picture show at the royal Swiss rooms. This room used for the first night rest, welcoming lunch, homeward bound, third dinner, introduction gift, and the morning afters. Next is employment detail. First is handling the counter ticket and guide the tourists. From the overall internship, my job is handling the counter ticket. So I have learned how to manage the counter ticket and also communications with the customer. Secondly is learn how to wash brush and arrange the brush. For wash the brush should be use the acid water to polish the brush. So from that I know how to wash the brush. Thirdly is I also have attend program kanak-kanak Tadika Unggul at the Kite Museum for the 3 days. I was handling the children to teach that children to make a kite and also coloring the kite. Next, I and staff museum have doing the cleaning activities program to clean the Jahar Palace because of the museum was closed for the 3 months because of the pandemic COVID-19. Last but not least, I also learned how to welcoming the arrivals of Eastern guests to the Jahar Palace. Because Jahar Palace often receive visit from the dignitaries which is from the Tengku Mahkota Kelantan, Tengku Muhammad Faiz Petra, Director of Target Mega Marines, Director of the Jabatan Kebudayaan dan Kesenian Negeri Kelantan, and also Malaysian Association of Hotel. Then we move to the SWOT analysis. For the strength, firstly is a variety of the special collections. In the Jahar Palace, there is a collection of royal costumes practiced in ancient times, and when tourists visit the museum can know about the royal costumes. Secondly is strong support from the state governments. Kelantan State Museum is administrated under the state governments. Moreover, during our internships, I also can improve my English levels because Jahar Palace have a received visitor from the international tourists such as from the Koreans, from the England, from the Japan, from the Chinese and others. Next is opportunity. Museum have a provide opportunity for the practical student to learn how to work in the museum, and also opportunity learn to welcome royal relative and people of high rank. Then weakness. Firstly is lack of parking. The museum does not provide any parking area for visitors who come to the museum. Secondly, weakness is lack of visitor. People nowadays is not interesting to visit museum because they don't want experience about the history. So from that, museum facing problems lack of visitor to visit the museum. Other than that, museum also not promote their specials and uniqueness about the museum to the peoples through their own website, Facebook, Instagrams, and another media platform. Last but not least is track. Firstly is competitor with the shopping malls. Nowadays, museums are in competitions with the shopping mall because young people now prefer to visit shopping mall rather than visit museum. Next track is pandemic of coronavirus 2019. Malaysia is currently facing an outbreak of the COVID-19, so that all activity are blocked, including the tourism, causing people cannot visit the museum and any other place. Next, we move to the recommendations. The museum should provide enough parking to visitors to make it easier for the visitor to get a parking when they want to visit the museum. Next, museum also should make a promotion through the website museum and social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and other about the museum. Then, museum also need to organize various of programs interesting to attract more visitors to visit museum. In conclusions, museum is good because it can help a person to add the knowledge about the history. According to Colin 2009, said that museum can make you smarter because museum can engage and educate their community. I also hope the museum will organize many programs and exhibitions that can attract more people to visit the museum. Here, I also want to say special thanks to the Perbadanan Museum Negeri Kelantan for accepting me to internship at the museum. This is a reference that I use for refers Lastly is appendix. This is a several picture that I have taken during my internship, such as presentations of certificates from the supervisor, photo session with the museum assistant and staff, interview sessions with the Datuk Majors and Astro Awani, interview sessions with the museum assistant and RTN, and also make a audit book at the Jahar Palace. That's all from me. Thank you.